We'll figure it out
We'll
later.
find it. Well, we're in a conference. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is like an official meeting.
Yeah. The meeting of the minds.
God help us all.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's a decent day up there in Fair Play.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Spring is finally sprung here. It's little shades of green are kind of popping up in between the snow patches, so we're getting a little bit of everything. That being said, yesterday was like whiteout conditions. Like I would be out here in my winter cap, a hoodie, and my muck boots. That was my wardrobe yesterday. So yeah, now we may have gotten into the 50s, mid 50s today.
Wow.
So yeah, thought I'd come out here and get a little outside time. So it's working. So as long as signal's good,
Yeah, it
we'll
sounds
run
perfect.
we'll run it.
It sounds perfect. We were actually we barely hit 70 2 years ago. 2 days ago. Got wind and a little bit of rain yesterday.
Did you? Yeah.
And today it's like 92 degrees. It's madness.
Bipolar week
Uh,
here.
what are you gonna do?
Make up
So
your
I
mind.
so for the audience that's watching, uh, one of the pieces, one of the terms and conditions of the sale of the house is right behind Brian right now.
Yes. Yeah, we're actually in the backyard of the sauna here. This is I don't know if I can give a little tour. This is my firewood processing area, and that little hatch there, that's where I get things heating up here. But yeah, this was a big item for our sale. So it's still hard. It's a hard one to let go, but I got my money's worth out of it. That's for
Well,
sure.
you got your money's worth out of it. It's good you're sitting right by it just to give me a constant reminder of the fact that it was a hard sell.
Yep, yeah, it was. I'm just, I may not be in it. I was thinking about trying to do one of these shows while in it, but I know my phone will shut down. Like if I'm just holding it and like scrolling through in the sauna, after a while it does that temperature like emergency
Oh yeah,
shutdown. So like when it's like 220 degrees in there, the phone isn't happy. So, but if I can tuck it down on the floor by the cool air, then I can keep it going. I would listen to like podcasts.
maybe when you design the new one, you could factor that into the design.
Yeah, have a little cell phone safe area,
Cooling your yeah.
a cooling zone.
That's right. That's right. I mean, dude, who knows? In like 3 years, 4 years, when you're everything's good and you're moved forward and you're settled in and you got the sauna design and you have like a party and some dude comes over or some woman comes over and sits in the sauna and say, "Hey, this is awesome. You think you could make another one for me?" And then
Yep,
you
yep.
create a business in manufacturing saunas, customized
That's
saunas.
that'd be all right. There's a guy like I was telling you. That's all he does. And I looked at one of them, and it was a chunk of change. But I looked at him like, oh man, I could do a better job. Like it was impressive, but I wasn't totally impressed. So you never know, man. Never a little side hustle there.
I
Shane
think
Saunas coming to a neighborhood near you.
a little side hustle that takes you 6 months to build one.
Yeah. Well, if we get mass production going, anything's possible.
Yeah, I don't know too many sauna manufacturers out there in the world. You'd have to research that.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty big time, but the price tags on those are. I mean, that's a few months' salary right there. So
And they're
get
not made
efficient
with
at it.
love. They're not made with love.
No, this one would be straight from the heart. I mean, you break a sweat faster, I think, in this one because it was built with blood, sweat, and tears for sure.
I don't know. I was pretty comfortable in that one. That was a nice one.
I know. Cora's still having a hard time with our departure on this one. She's my sauna buddy, so
Well,
it's not over.
you could do what we used to do that my dad was really happy about is change the sauna into like a steam room and go into the you could pull the stationary bike into the bathroom,
Yeah,
crank the heat all the way up, turn the shower on all the way hot.
yeah. That's the the ghetto sauna right there.
Mike, you're tearing the wallpaper off the wall.
It's wrestling season again.
Gotta lose the weight, Dad. Gotta lose the weight. I gotta shed like 7 pounds.
Well, I would bring into the wrestling room in our basement. I'd close the door off with blankets, and then I would bring in space heaters all plugged in at different outlets so it wouldn't trip the breakers. And I'd probably have like 3 different space heaters going on in like a 10 by 10 room there. And that was, that was legit too, but we'll see. I'll go back to wood burners again though.
I,
I like
I
it.
don't know. I don't know if that necessarily would have passed an OSHA inspection.
No, no, definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, Dad had to look the other way with that one.
Well, I used to run in the basement with like 2 kerosene heaters on both sides of the treadmill.
Yeah.
It wasn't really doing much, especially in those winter months when it was like 25 degrees in the basement.
I was gonna say, yeah, your mat was like rock hard. There's no
Oh,
difference between your mat and the concrete
oh
slab
no,
next
we
to it.
couldn't have, no, it gave us just a little bit of
Grip,
safe.
grip.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
it.
exactly. And during the winter time, it didn't even give us grip.
Oh my gosh.
It
Those,
was a sheet of ice.
what was it? The Ultra Flexes, those blue and silver
Yeah,
shoes. I mean, though it was so cold you couldn't. Those soles wouldn't even bend. It was like ballet slippers. Like,
yeah. We would have layers and layers and layers on. It would still be.
yeah,
We'd have gloves on and hats and.
yeah. Getting tossed around by you and Bobby, it still didn't warm me up that
Yeah,
much.
oh man. Well, listen. You could certainly put another one in your basement.
Yeah, yeah, it's possible. It's very possible. I got the 12 by 12 mat, so we're good to go there.
Is
So
that
yeah,
did that make the trip out already?
it did. Yeah, first trip it was in the trailer. So, and the wrestling mats have come a long way, and that was even an older one, but it was in 2 sections, and they were so light. I just put them on my shoulder and brought them down out of the loft one at a time. But I got that thing rolled up so tight, like in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, like the wrestling mat's gonna consume like a quarter of that trailer, and I was able to stand them upright both sides and just tuck them off to the side, and I was like, oh, I got tons of room.
Not like it used to be, man. Those
Not
things
like it used to be.
take
Yeah,
half the team to get those things rolled up and put into the room.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you bust a nut just moving those mats.
By the way, it's so this is funny. So when you load, so basically what happens is I record this and then it takes a while to download and process. And once it's processed, I download it to my PC as a file, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then I could save the file up to Anchor, and that's for people to hear the recording. And then I could save the file up to the YouTube channel. And when you save the file up to the YouTube channel, it basically states there's two little buttons you could click, basically kids friendly or not kids friendly. But I think that is less to do with language and more to do with
Content. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, yeah,
Visual. Yeah. Well,
visual
we'll keep
content.
our clothes on. We'll keep our clothes on for these.
Yes, so
Unlike
far.
just the audio ones, anything could happen then.
Yeah, right. Well, the funny thing is so I would usually have like a half an hour into the show when we're drinking a beer, I'll have somebody bring me up another beer. But since
Yeah.
we're doing video, I said, all right, maybe we shouldn't have anybody kind of come in and interrupt. So I took my pitcher and
Oh, there you go. Whoa,
I,
look
I
at
put
you.
I put 2 beers in my pitcher to keep it cool.
Perfect.
So speaking of,
I
I
could
don't know
just stick mine in a snowbank, I guess, over there. That would probably work too.
what do
You
you
got
got going on?
you got bottles. Wow.
I do.
So I'm soaking up as much Colorado craft beer as I can here now with the final week and a half,
Rightfully
less than a
so.
week and a half. So I went to a different town though of Idaho Springs, which is right off I-70 coming up to Summit County, and Tommy Knocker Brewery is their Blood Orange. Let me see. Blood Orange IPA. So
Nice.
it's tasty, and for a day like this it is perfect. But I had one last night. I would recommend you sticking with uh this beer if you're going to have more than one, because it definitely does something to the palate. I tried shifting over to another IPA after this last night. I was packing up in the driveway, and something wasn't right. Those first few half of a can of that next one, it was weird. I was like, oh,
Well,
I'm like, I still got like that citrusy orange taste going on.
well, that's interesting you say that because if you remember, I was drinking those non-alcoholic IPAs, the one from Athletic
Yeah,
Brewing, and the
yep.
other one. It doesn't make a difference. I don't really care where the other one was from, but I went from Athletic to the other one, and I should. It was such a huge contrast, and I want to say it was maybe because the way I lined them up, but I think a little while later, where I went back to back with the other one, and it tasted as shitty as it did the first time I
Okay,
drank it. So
okay. Just a shitty beer.
it was bad, man. I have two or three left over in there, and I'm just waiting for the next time we have like brats, and I'm just gonna boil the brats in it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Or make that skip and go naked with lemonade and vodka and all that. You just burn it
I
up.
I
That's
I don't
impressive
even
for
know.
you to dislike a beer that much. That speaks in volumes.
Well, keep in mind it was non-alcoholic,
Non-alcohol, yeah.
so
Beer is a
technically,
loose term.
yeah, technically it's not true beer, but yeah. So I got
What do you got? What do you got?
you to say that Stone Exotic
Exotic.
Destinations.
Oh, almost grabbed that yesterday. Actually, that's funny.
So I got we're tonight's we're having another soccer get together tonight for uh, Elena's other team. So she's on the two travel teams or the two club teams. So we had one on Sunday for one team, and there's another one tonight, and we're going to bring some over. So I picked these up yesterday. Can't wait. The soccer season was fantastic, and I love we've made some great connections with people. There's wonderful human beings, but Monday I'm cold turkey. I'm gonna try very hard, Bri, to go from the 3rd of May to June 16th without any alcohol and clean eating, just to because with not running,
Wow.
man, with not being able to run, it's
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. No, I get it. I get it. Well, that's an undertaking, but you'll be fine with it.
But well, that's Monday. So until
Yeah,
then, cheers.
yeah. Until then, so long, liver.
So so you oh, I wanted to say the Tommy Knocker. I
Yeah.
know Sherpa has that Tommy Knocker race. Is there any connection?
No, Tommy Knocker is kind of like a mining term. I think they used to call him that. Like if you Googled, well, here, Tommy Knockers slipped into the mining camps of Idaho Spring in the 1800s with the discovery of gold in the mountains and streams. These mischievous elves, okay, so they were elves, though hardly ever seen, were often heard singing and working. They guided many fortunate miners from harm's way and to the gold they sought. So they're kind of like the leprechauns
Uh,
of the mining world. So yeah, I remember hearing about them because miners, like before like a cave in and stuff, sometimes they'd hear like a knocking, so that they became
ah,
Tommy knockers. So
that's a pretty cool story.
yeah. And I'm sure if you went to the Tommy knocker race, there would probably be the history behind that too. John's good like that.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd have a story to tell about that. Speaking of, I don't know if you heard, but they have him and the guy that does the medals, Eric.
Yeah, yep,
They just bought. They're buying a couple races in San Diego, and they have one that's
yeah.
in October 23rd. It's one over in San Diego. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's big. That's huge getting into California for them. So I was excited to hear that. Yeah, it goes from maybe a 50K and then all the way down to like a mile fun run
Yeah.
with the kids, like 5K, all that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
that's
there was a 50 miler, but I think they obviously didn't have the race last year, but I think in 2020, in this year, they were gonna have the 50 miler, but I guess because of permits and everything, they ixed it. So
Oh, okay.
I wrote it down. Maybe I mean if I'm back at it, that might be a cool little quick weekend getaway.
Yeah, good reason to get to San Diego.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, I like his races, obviously, so it'd be fun. So
Yeah, yeah. That and the Arkansas one. That would be fun to get over to that other one out of state.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
So, but
yeah.
we got
That's a
some to
hard
think.
one to leave.
We have
Just,
some
just
we have some to think about back east though, maybe.
yeah. There's options. There's options back there. There's just like a 23K or something. I saw maybe it's this last weekend. I saw pictures of it, but it was like right above, like north of Lock Haven. It's almost like central PA.
Hmm.
But man, the vertical up and down, it was like Hainer or something. But
Yes,
it was
yes.
like up and down. Have you heard that of that one?
Yeah, it's they have. I've heard of the one. I don't think it's a 100 miler. I think it's 100K.
Yeah,
I think it's yeah, the Heiner. I think it's the Heiner 100K, I believe.
yep,
But yeah, it's probably around this time, springtime. So yeah, definitely I've heard of it, and that's where I remember it being. It's north of Lock Haven, yeah, in those woods up
yeah,
there.
yeah. And I mean, that area out there, that's no joke. And I saw the shots of it. I mean, that course is coming straight up out of the valleys there. It's gorgeous
Yeah.
backdrops and everything with the river and everything.
There's another one a little bit further west, west and south along 76, by that what's it, Kitnanny Ridge? Is that the ridge you go through? The one tunnel is Kitnanny or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
There's one up there, and I think it actually traverses over the Turnpike Bridge or the Turnpike Tunnel
Oh,
over
no
there.
kid. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think so.
Just on the west side of like Carlisle and Shippensburg.
A little bit further
Is it
west of that. A little bit further.
farther? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that eastern states. I don't know if that's going on even anymore,
It
but
is. It is.
I
I
mean,
checked. I checked it this year. I just because once you said it was official. I'm like, I remember we were talking about doing that. So I'm like, but it's open. It's open.
that's that's tempting. That's very tempting. I mean, single track and almost the whole thing. I think is single track with some crazy elevation gain.
It's like 20. I thought it was like 20,000 feet, 20 some thousand
Yeah,
feet of gain.
yeah. That's tempting. So yeah, we got options.
I gotta get healthy. I gotta
Yeah.
get healthy.
First things
Uh,
first. I gotta get
yeah.
moved. You gotta get healthy.
Yeah, it's been an interesting run. I went out. What's today? Thursday. I went out Saturday, like I told you,
Yeah,
and it,
yeah.
it didn't fare very well. I went
Like
out
a fart in
Tuesday.
church.
Yeah, even worse. Like
Oh,
like the priest farting in church with the microphone on. uh,
that's bad, man. That's like real bad.
Again, the children's button was clicked because of the video content, not the verbal content. Uh, but I went out Tuesday, and for about 40 minutes, about 3.25 miles, and I probably ran about 2.5 of it. It's really slow. And then obviously I was like doing a half a mile, tenth of a mile, half a mile, tenth of a mile, and like
Go walk,
walking
run,
is
walk.
yeah, walking is so much better. So I used to have pain when I was walking. I don't have any pain now when I walk, but when I'm running, there is just it's not no level of relief whatsoever when I run. So
That sucks.
yeah, we'll give
I,
it
w-
time.
I was thinking of you. I've heard on multiple different maybe podcasts, I think it was, but like like the '80s are things are coming back, and now we're kind of like working our way back into like the '90s, and, like styles and everything. So something that's popular again. I don't know if you've heard about it, but rollerblading is like a big thing now again.
I've seen people doing it because we got the skate park right here.
Your path, yeah, yeah.
Well,
So,
there's actually a skateboarding park right here over by the fields, the soccer
yep,
fields.
yep, yep.
And I've seen in probably the last 3 months, Bry, at least 2, 3 rollerbladers over there.
In the park itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, doing
Really?
their doing their
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and they're also like distance. I think endurance athlete was just on Rogan, but she's talking about rollerblading. Getting her miles in via blades,
See,
like
that's interesting.
all body, no impact, like go for hours type
The
deal.
only downside, dude, is it's you're not on the trails.
Yeah, yeah. But if a matter of cross training and keeping conditioning,
Yeah.
while like in your situation right now, if you were able to do that nice little movement they do, if you can do
So
that, man, you're gonna be like all good to go.
yeah, you talking about a fart in church. That's what I would look like.
The downfall would be the being able to rollerblade in itself. The
I'd be
thought of
that.
it is great.
The concept is wonderful. I'd be that dude out there with like the bubble wrap, the helmet, the gloves, everything, going like this.
In the middle of a Phoenix summer day.
Yeah, yeah. The middle-aged man out there, all bored, all the, leveled up with all sorts of nonsense.
Yeah.
Um,
And the short running shorts, of course.
oh, that would be a definite. That would have to be a definite.
You got to keep that tan line consistent.
With no shirt on, with all the pads and everything on.
Yeah, everything around.
Constantly,
Do it.
constantly pulling me over, going, dude, what are you doing, man?
Get out of here.
You're not supposed to be within 500 feet of a school.
Get in the back. Get in the back. We're giving you a ride home.
Oh man. Oh.
Well, if anything, I was thinking of you. So alternatives for Mike.
Well, I appreciate you thinking of me.
So, and it was kind of funny to think about you rollerblading too. So I did have a chuckle.
I've done it before. Long. I think it was college the last time I actually did it.
I was gonna say like day glow and rollerblades.
We used to rollerblade from Drexel's campus over to the art museum.
Oh, okay.
Do like a little loop and go down by the river. That actually was pretty fun, and
Yeah.
it's not that difficult to learn. I mean, I picked it
No.
up. It's like skiing. You're gonna pick it up pretty quick.
Exactly. I think the first and last time I was on blades, my brothers had them. I came home from college, I think the first year, and we went camping down in Virginia Beach. So we had bikes and these blades. So I was like, okay, let me get them on. I got them on. I've got it figured out. I'm like, all right. I think like Kevin maybe, but pulling me. We hooked a tow strap onto the bike, and he started pulling me around on the bike, and it just takes the smallest pebble to stop those things. And I think I went home with like road rash all up and down my shoulder there, and the salt water just killed it.
That
So
was fun right there.
that was a short little stint of my blading, but we'll see.
I guess we should get the topic, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. It's been a bit.
So
Yeah,
why don't you kick it off?
I threw this one and kind of just a sentence or two, and then I just figured we'd just let it flow from there. But I between 4,000 miles or so in the last 2 months of just driving, big, heavy, slow trucks. I kept on having a reoccurring line of just stay in your lane. You hear that saying, and I heard it, and it was just funny because I was like, oh, Cindy, I'm using this one on you a lot. Like, just stay in your lane, hon, stay in your lane. But it just really stuck with me more and more and it almost, I've compared my drives to the ultra mindsets, and we could apply that mindset even further. But it's you're on your road, you're on your path. You got to get there. You just got to stay consistent, and for that, it's just stay in your lane. There's no rush. I had no business being in the passing lanes at all, and I had to just get good with that because I'm all about making good timing, usually on road trips. And these last two was a real struggle for me to stay in my lane, stay your course. So, but then as I'm getting back east now into our new area, or not new, but getting back into Pennsylvania with the work now, looking at new work, and this is something we're both dealing with of coming in somewhere new and having to learn new ways, and for me it's going to be learning everything. I have certain skills that I'm going to be applying and certain backgrounds that I can draw from, but there's a level of humility that needs to be brought into the to this scenario. So and again, coming back to stay in your lane. This is where you're at. You just gotta stay in this right lane for now, and learn some new ways. There was something else. Oh, I started getting back into the CrossFit gym with mom last week, and I went 3 days in a row. And I mean, COVID aside, I haven't been in like a actual training, working out atmosphere, especially with other people, in probably like 2 years, really, because I've been just doing my own thing. And so stepping back in there at 570 CrossFit, I mean that place is phenomenal. It's such a good place for me to re-enter into that scene. I mean,
Yeah.
there couldn't be a better place as far as I'm concerned. Because Bob Suprick, fellow past wrestler in the area, he's just running a phenomenal setup in there. Programming was just awesome. But at the same time, I had to go walk through those doors again of not trying to keep up with everybody around me, because these are all seasoned people that are in there on a regular basis. So I had to go in, good spoonful of humility there, stay in my lane, pick the right amount of weights, and scale each workout to where I felt was appropriate for me, not where what another guy was doing over here. His weight on his bar had nothing to do with me, and that takes a little time and processing to be okay with that. Because I think I could speak for both of us, but our mentalities is just get in there, and just throw it all out. But especially at our age now too,
Mhm.
that could be very poor decision. So stay in your lane. You got to know what you're capable of. You got to know when it's okay to pass. But for the most part, right now, there's just a lot of quality of being comfortable where you're at and then
Yeah.
growing from there. So that's kind of I thought we could chew on that for a little bit.
Yep. I thought you were going somewhere else with that, but I like where you went with it actually versus where I thought it could have gone. Um, because
Where'd you think? I'm just curious. Where'd you think?
well, when I've heard stay in your lane over the course of the last year, right? Because that's really where I first started hearing it is stay in your lane. It's when folks out there start uh, comment or giving their opinion on
Yeah.
something when it's outside of their lane. So,
Yep.
perfect example is if you saw it recently, LeBron James touting off about the whole killings and stuff that's been going on around the world with the cops, right?
Yep.
Um, it's with you know it's really centered around a lot with athletes trying to voice their opinions within politics, and those that are doing that are told to listen, stay in your lane. You're
Yeah.
you're an
Yeah.
athlete. You're a
Yeah.
baseball player. You're a football player. Don't be commenting on politics. Stay with your sport or stay with your whatever it is. And
Yeah.
in that aspect, listen, I get why people make that judgment. I get it. Um, and I'm in some instances I do the same thing because usually when people give their opinion on something that is outside of their lane, from my experience and what I've seen, that opinion or that comment is not well thought of or thought out, and they make themselves look like an idiot, you know.
Yeah.
But they
Yep.
also it's freedom of speech, and if you if you want to say something about, if you want to voice an opinion about something that's not, you're not experienced in, by all means, you have that right to do so. But keep in mind, there is going to be backlash from it. Okay.
Yep.
And when the backlash happens is when everybody gets, sensitive that, well, you shouldn't be judging that person's opinion because it's freedom of speech. I'm like, yeah, you have freedom of speech, but you don't have freedom of being called out for being an idiot too, because it could be said. So I thought that's where
Yeah.
the conversation was going to go.
Yeah, no, that's where, that's where that saying pretty much originates and is common there. But yeah, and I just kind of applied it, just a little different area and everything. But yeah, I mean, all that, it's unfortunate that people don't think a little longer before they speak out. Everything's
Yeah.
just so off the cuff right now. Like in construction and contracting, there's a saying, measure twice, cut once.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, if you could think maybe just a little longer, think twice, speak once. Sometimes that may have an effect, and then other people are just so gung ho on their stance and opinions that it just comes out
Well,
or
it's
gets
it's
typed out.
it's that, yeah, right. It's that awareness, and you're kind of alluding to it, right? With one when you're driving, and then going, your example, what you shared about going into the CrossFit gym,
Yep.
right? And yeah, it's something you've done before. It's something you have experience with, but it's been a while, so you kind of got to relearn the
Yeah.
skill a little bit, right? And get
Yep.
I like what you said, being comfortable with where you are. That's what I'm kind of experiencing right now, like going out for just trying to test the waters and running right now. It's like I want to go, I want to go. But I'll tell you, man, the patience that I've been able to uh, put forth in this process, uh, it's as it relates to a physical endeavor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, it's it's really, it's like you said, for me, it's humbling. It's humbling
Yep.
because listen, it sucks, and we're very much alike when it comes to this kind of shit. We talked about it in an episode a few weeks ago. It really sucks, but I'm I'm I like so much what you said, being comfortable with where I'm at. I'm working so hard. I put out a post yesterday about today, just focusing on today, not, okay, when's
Yeah.
the next race I'm going to have, or am I going to get up to those mountains sooner or later? All those thoughts you run through your mind, like when I was out just well, I'm walking the dog and I'm just looking around and I'm thinking about, okay, sometime I'm going to be able to get to that trail. And then I come back to reality, and it's like we were talking about it a few weeks ago. I'm just be comfortable walking right now, enjoying your
Yeah.
walk with your dog,
Yeah.
enjoying not
Be
not
grateful you can walk.
yeah,
Even that,
exactly,
like if your
not
knee's that bad, yeah, you
right,
you could be
right,
laid out.
right. So it's just taken a lot of that gratitude, which, like I said, a lot of that gratitude, that we're able to move, we're able
Yeah.
to breathe, we're able to get out and enjoy the sunshine. And yeah, we are getting older. I feel right now like I started lifting a lot more. Like I'm lifting 2 or 3 days a week. Now my shoulder's starting to bother me. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm falling apart. But
Can't
I was
catch a break. Well,
I was talking to Robin this morning, but I'm like, I still get to do these things. I'm still able to do these things, and going back to about staying in your lane, that's part of it, because we're conditioned, because we want to do more, we want to be better. And
yeah.
in most of the cases when we're going through that process, there's some things, there's a finite amount of things we can control, and then there's everything else which we cannot control.
Yeah.
Our minds tend to get wrapped up in the things we can't control, that's ego, versus the things that we can control. And that's what I'm talking about, is I got to stay in my lane as far as what is it that I can control, and focusing on that, and I've been kind of going through this process a lot the last couple of weeks, and having that awareness and being able to have that awareness is really a blessing, you know, to just like you said about going to the, you know what, I haven't done this in 2 years. I probably shouldn't be putting 225 on a bar to
Yeah.
start throwing around right now, because you know I'm not 22 years old and I'm gonna definitely pull something.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
mindfulness. That's awareness, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. And
staying in your
that's,
lane.
and it going in, like looking back on it now, just talking through it, I went in kind of with low standards for myself. And it was kind of nice though, because I was capable of more than even I thought I was going to be able to do. Now I knew that I was going to regret it 2 days afterwards for like
Sure.
delayed muscle on soreness, but going in there of yeah, but and this is another cool thing was I'm consistent right now with hanging from a bar. That's all I do. I brush my teeth at night. I hang from a bar in my closet, and I'm not. I don't do pull ups all the time. All I do is just let gravity do the work. And but that in that simple act and staying at a consistent level with that, that showed up when I started going back into the gym. Like my grip strength was crazy because I didn't think I was doing anything. And I went in there and I saw that the consistency of something so simple and like 90 seconds a day
Mm,
added up into me being able to outperform myself where I thought I was
right.
physically. So that was kind of cool. And it was like, okay, yeah, like I'm staying in my lane, but like I'm kind of picking up momentum where I could kind of veer off and, maybe pass this Volkswagen bus, you
Right.
know, but it
Well,
was comfortable because we're so good at, finding comfort while being uncomfortable. We've always brought that up, but it's the same applies to like you right now. Like you're uncomfortable not doing what you want to be doing or
hmm
getting out there only to a certain degree,
hmm
and that's uncomfortable for you. But when you're coming back and you're looking at the awareness and looking at everything like you were just saying that's going on, like you're finding that comfort zone there.
well,
You don't want to be there, but you're content.
I have to. I have to. I mean, in this situation, and I think that helps all of us grow, is we have to become comfortable with not being comfortable. Now, I mean, so I guess I have a choice. I have a choice to, well, I guess I could go out and run, but that's just stupid. That's just like the athlete talking about something politically incorrect, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't have a choice but to back everything down and become comfortable not doing the things that I really want to do and that provide me with joy and freedom and all that good stuff. I have to stay in this lane, right? I have to stay in this lane and just let the process work itself out. And I thoroughly believe whatever that process may be is the process. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I thoroughly believe that at some point in time, I'm going to learn something from this. And it could be the fact that I'm becoming more and more patient. It's me becoming more comfortable with something that I'm not comfortable. It's just being consistent with that mentality, right? Getting comfortable being uncomfortable. There's that other side of the other side of my mind that says, dude, you don't have to do shit. You could sit back, drink beer, do whatever you want, enjoy it. And then I
Yep.
do that, and then the onset of guilt is like, dude, if I keep going this round, I'm gonna be like 210 pounds, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
be like I'm gonna
Exactly.
be like when the girls were born, Mike. You know, but the good thing is there's talking about the consistency and staying in your lane. I'm moving every day, moving every day, moving
Yeah.
every day.
Yep.
And you targeted something with the hang, right? And my comment was going to be, it's easy to outperform yourself when you don't have expectations.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sky's
So
the limit then.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
when you don't like, if
Yeah.
I don't have, if I let go of all the expectations, whether it's going to run, I'm going to run, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to rollerblade 100 miles, I don't know, and just live in this moment and stay in that lane being the moment right now, then anything I do is going to quote unquote exceed those expectations.
Yeah. No, it's exactly. And that's where it kind of leads into another area I've been thinking about too is, self-identity.
Mm,
All this we're talking about right now is, how do you identify yourself? And, are you content enough with yourself to stay in the lane and not have the ego try to pass, on a hill going up and
yeah,
down
yeah,
Pennsylvania?
yeah.
Are you that content that you're good at 60 miles an hour? So, and it comes back to like, back, especially where we were from, like, oh, your buddies, they jump off the Brooklyn Bridge. You gonna jump off the Brooklyn Bridge too? Are you comfortable? Are you that good with yourself that you'll just stay on the bridge? Or are you feeling you need to prove yourself and keep up with everybody,
Mm,
in the gym or in the yoga studio, that
mm.
you need to take that leap? Or are you just gonna hunker down and just make your way through?
Dude,
So
that's
that's
so spot on. Are you comfortable being with where you're at? You know,
yeah.
and I think either we were talking about this, or I put it out there. Like, I think it was last week. I put something out there. It was who am I? Who am I? Not
uh,
who am me, but anybody who's out there. And we're, from my perspective, yes, we're ultra marathoners, we're wrestlers, former wrestlers, we're athletes, we're all these things, but those things are what we do or what we did. They're not who we are. I identify myself as a husband, as a father, as a human being.
yes, exactly.
I'm not a salesperson. I'm not an ultra marathoner. I'm not even an ultra dad. These are things that I do. Okay.
Yeah, labels,
And
just labels.
100%, they're labels. And when you peel all those labels back, right? What are you left with? You're left with your true identity. And going right to your point, man, if I were to leave this world tomorrow and I'm identified as a good husband and a good father and a good human being, I'm pretty damn content with that. I don't,
Yeah,
and if I thought about this lately, man, if I don't run another 100 mile, or if I don't run another ultra, hell, if I don't ever run again, right?
yeah,
And we're talking extreme. I really had to sit back with myself and ask myself, I'm like, are you going to be okay with that? And then my mind shifts, like, probably not at first, but then I'm going to have to try to find where my new lane's going to be. What am I going to
yeah.
get into so I can receive that level of joy and fulfillment from something else?
Yeah, you get your fix. Like, how are you going to get your fix? And not to prove to anybody else or show off or, bragging rights, but how are you going to get your own personal fix? And that's where, packing up and moving, all this stuff, like, it's materialistic stuff, but, and I was talking to a good buddy yesterday, but like, just my tools, you can look at it like they're big, they're heavy, but at the same time, they're like almost an extension of myself, and they allow me to express myself, or to
Mm,
just make myself seem worthy at times, and like feel like I am capable of doing things and not relying on other people. Like, for me, that's a big deal. So
mm.
now, if like we're shifting gears, we're shifting settings, we don't know exactly what kind of house or land we're going to end up with. And I'm having a really hard time with that right
So
now.
you're having a hard time with that stuff being quote unquote taken from you.
Yeah, or question, and I mean, majority of it ended up back east anyway. But the
Right, right,
thought
right.
of letting it go and not having just those items, because it's that, but that's part of how I identify myself. Like that's part of my identity. It's physical achievements. For a while, that's how I thought I identified myself as. Not just a husband and a father, and the twins and Tanner. Like it was what I could do with my hands and certain tools. Like that was to me that was a major reflection on myself.
Well, here's what I was going to ask you, and I think we already have an answer to it because I think you've experienced it. What happens when that identity is taken away from you, and that identity was taken away from you for, I don't know, several months, if not a year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And like we said before, like that's where this whole rebuilding and like where you're at right now, like I had to rebuild myself physically, mentally, spiritually, really. But
Hmm.
that that period, although it was probably some of the hardest times of my life, was now looking back, probably some of the most significant times of my life
Yeah.
to create who's sitting here
Well, I think, you going through that a few years ago, me going through this right now, and that's why I have faith, excuse me, that it's part of the process of me becoming whoever it is that I'm going to be. I don't
right
necessarily know who that might be down the road. I have a pretty good feeling that I'm going to like it because
now.
I'm learning from this process, just like you learn from that process.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it it sucks when you go through it, and when you're going through it, you're always asking, where's this going? What's going to happen? How is this going to end? You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and
In that
it,
moment, it's hard.
it is, and that's
It's
when,
super hard.
So this is interesting because I went through something similar almost, well, 3.5 years ago, but it wasn't to this extent where I was having this much difficulty.
Yeah,
And if I was going through this at any other point throughout the, what, 8, 10 years we've been doing this nonsense, I don't know if I would have been able to handle it. I don't,
yeah.
what have I gotten through it, and how would I would have, what lane would have I have chosen if this was happening at a different time?
Yeah, yeah, you just pull off into the passing lane, blow up, and then you're set back far back from there too. But it's the hashtag value in the process. I was a big fan of that one for a while, and that's to this day. I think there is value in the process, and you have to put value into wherever you're at right now. And I'm I feel for you with this, but there's part of me that's real excited for this rebuild.
Yeah.
So, and I've told you that before. I'm excited, and my dad's in a similar position right now with his back, having issues with that. But I've told him too. Because he was talking like multi-day trips and 40-pound packs that may be a thing of the past. I was like, Dad, listen. I was like, I've heard stories, like war stories, pretty much like guys are worse, way worse than you, and have come back and have been stronger than they've ever been in their life. And it's like you and him right now. My mom, when she had her knee replacements, the rebuilding process, I almost get excited for people.
Yeah.
Like
And
there's sympathy, but at the same time, there's this little tint of excitement that it's like, ooh, like this is gonna change. This is gonna change you for the good.
I get that. I get that because there are those moments we have when there's clarity, right? It could be me meditating, it could be out walking, it could be me just standing in the backyard late in the afternoon, smelling the sun setting and just maybe grilling, and the moment of clarity comes to me, and it's like, I'm going to be better out of this. I don't know what that means and how that
Yep.
story is going to play out, but there's something better coming. So I want to thank you for some inspiration that you didn't know it at the time. You were inspiring me to do it, but last Monday I started reading Untethered Soul again,
Oh, nice.
dude, and the messages that have been coming to me in the parts of the book at the time that they have been coming to me,
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's happening.
today's I read it, the section. I don't know if you remember, but it's all about, we get to decide. We get to decide happiness. We choose to be happy. And
Hmm.
I say that all the time. And Robin is really, really good at, she's like, just make that choice to be happy. I'm like, it's not that easy. God damn it.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. But the part
I
today,
could see that conversation like
yep,
perfectly, crystal clear.
the part, and I'm trying to find, because I wrote it down, and it's the purpose of your life is to enjoy and learn from your experiences. You are not put on earth to suffer. You're helping no one by being miserable. Events don't determine whether or not you're going to be happy. I'm going to repeat that. Events don't determine whether or not you're going to be happening. So the stuff
Yep.
that's happening around us, and I was reading this today, Brian, and I'm thinking of you, because I'm like, I'm thinking of Robin. I'm like, they're so freaking right, because
Yeah.
even why a knee? Why the guy? And he does share an example with respect to the guy that cuts you off in traffic. You know, and,
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
and he goes, you get mad at it, but I'm processing these examples, and I'm like, yeah, why do why do we get mad at that? Why do we get mad at that guy that cuts us off in traffic? Because it's our ego.
Yep.
It's completely
Yeah.
our ego, because we want to control the situation, and we weren't good enough to control the guy passing us or cutting us off, or we weren't prepared enough, or in shape enough or conditioned enough, because my knee hurt, now my knee's effed up, or whatever the case may be, and that just punches us in the gut being your ego, and that's why it makes us miserable.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a hard pill to swallow for everybody. I
It
don't
is.
care. Like, Buddhist monks would have the same issue if they got cut off. It's just that initial reaction, but it's how you react from your reaction then,
it's the it's the response to what happens. It's funny you mentioned the Buddhist monks, because uh, the book I read a couple weeks ago, and I forget the name of it, but Robin has it right now. But he was talking to the Dalai Lama, and if I think I may have shared this with you, but he was talking to the Dalai Lama, and he's guy's interviewing him. He's like, "Come on, you can't tell me you don't get pissed off. You don't get aggravated. If a guy cuts you off in the middle of not like the Dalai Lama drives, but if a guy cuts you off in the middle of
yeah.
traffic, you're not going to get mad at that." He's like, "Yeah, I get mad. I get upset. I get angry. I have emotions, but those emotions are internally and not externally. And I've been able to train myself and practice myself and condition myself over so long that I'm able to control
Yep.
how I respond to certain things." And again, the whole purpose is, what's the what's what's the value that we're going to get out of us flipping a person off that's cutting us off? There's no
Exactly.
value.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like the Dalai Lama. It's measure twice, cut once. It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
okay, well, just bring it back for one more round there instead of your initial reaction, which is a gesture and some colorful language. Instead of doing that right off the bat, have another breath, probably as monks would do, and bring it back in, bring it back to your meditation, and then after that, then it would be a whole other outcome right there.
yeah, yeah. That's good stuff,
But
man.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was 4,000 miles or so of traveling. This is kind of stuff I was sitting with. So
Well, at these last two trips, you had that time to think. I don't think you're going to have that much time to think on this next one.
not this, not this next one. This will be two girls in the back seat asking how much longer to the swimming pool.
I think you'll have a lot of laughs and you'll have some stories to tell from their conversations back and
Oh
forth.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, there's the yeah. I wish some of the drives to like dance class with these two just after school. I wish I could have like one of those video recorders of like the back seat and stuff. So
Just so you know,
it'll be
man,
lively.
that type of stuff doesn't end. You know, 'cause driving around. You know, I don't drive Bella around all that much anymore. But when
Yeah.
we're in the car, the four of us, you'll hear them talking.
Oh
And
yeah.
over the last several months with driving Elena with soccer and everything, I was fortunate or unfortunate, depending on who you ask. I was fortunate to carpool with a bunch of the other teammates and just hearing them,
The chatter.
hearing 14, 15-year-old girls talk. I'm just like,
Oh
I mean, it's entertaining. It's
yeah.
very, very entertaining.
Oh, that's good. You find it entertaining. I mean,
I
right now
mean,
we've had some meltdowns. I'm like, is this happening already? Like, it seems like these girls should be like 14 going on 15 maybe. Like, just their freakouts right now is like, okay, like we're just getting started on this one.
that's when, as the dad, you got to know when to stay in your lane. It's another reason.
Oh
Stay in
yeah,
your lane.
beautiful,
Be
beautiful,
like,
beautiful.
no,
That's when I want that divider, the limousine window to be able to come up and down.
you could put
My
one of
next
those in, can't
vehicle.
you?
Yeah, yeah, I got a welder.
You could put one of those in.
Yeah, no problem.
Just do the glass, the one that slides. You
The
know,
sliders, yeah, I'll have them all in the truck. Yeah, I'll just put a truck cab in between.
the girl. Speaking of that, the girls, the Elena's soccer team on Sunday, they had their party, and one of their things with the party is they rented a party bus to drive them around for an hour and go to the shopping area and take pictures and do that
Oh
thing. So
boy.
he had one of those. Probably he was probably happy he had uh,
Oh yeah.
that slider that went up. He's like, I heard him say, if you guys need anything from back there, there's water. Just come up and tap on the thing.
I'll roll it down, then I'll roll it back up.
That's right. Right.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it actually. I'm looking forward to it. I'm scared to a certain degree of, because Cindy and Tanner are staying behind. So, I got tons of support back east, so I'm not too worried, but just the thought of, the girls are my responsibility for a cross country travel. That's
Hey, I did it a couple times by myself flying, and we made it. They were
yeah.
still alive when we got there.
Yep. Just stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Make sure you have your first aid kit.
Yeah.
Uh, you'll be fine.
Yeah. No worries there. So we'll see. We did our last flight back from Philly and that all went well. So now from here on out, it's just one direction.
How's Tanner
So
feeling, by the way?
he's good. He's good. He got 2 days of soccer in last week, right when we got back. So he had
Okay.
Wednesday in the turf down there at Riverfront, and then the next day, get this, he got invited out to another practice. So they scrimmage pretty much. They did some drilling and some scrimmaging. But that's when Cindy sent you the Einen picture. We were up the
Okay.
Einen. So we but it was Brian Marshall, Kara's
Oh, Tanner
Malucci.
thought,
It
yeah.
was Kara's husband. He was coaching the team. So
Oh, cool.
we rolled right in with him, and it was kind of funny. It's small
That
world.
small world.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, but he was smiling ear to ear. He was just so happy to be kicking the ball around and knowing how close things really were, the proximity and stuff.
Yeah.
So what he really liked though was a few times we just got in the truck and just drove backcountry roads just all around the area, just getting out to Lake Winola. I showed him and Cindy where work was going to be, and then we cut over towards Ford's Pond and Gravel Pond Road, got up, did a drive around the North Campus, which I guess is just technically the high school now.
Mm-hmm.
But he just really enjoyed just cruising all the back roads. So
Yeah, Elena was asking if he was going to be playing soccer, and I said, I think he might be into it. Now, I was like, am I gonna see pictures of him with the Abington Youth Soccer shirt on? That'd be awesome. The reversible yellow and blue
yeah,
one.
yeah, that'll be the girls. That'll be the
Yeah,
girls. They're looking forward to doing that. So yeah, the yellow and the blue.
yeah.
And
There's
I think they
actually
have the same jerseys.
it, the meaning that they're like 30 years old jerseys.
No, the style, yeah, not the 5 pound. I'm sure it's later material now rather than the 5 pound reversible.
It's funny. Uh, we were actually talking about this week. Is there's a pretty decent gym if the girls are interested for gymnastics.
Okay,
Yeah, we I don't know. Robin may have a connection or two there still.
okay,
It
we'll
wasn't
take it.
a gym that we went to, but I mean the gym's been there. It used to be right on Main Avenue as you're going in the Green Ridge. Um,
Yeah. I
Gym
know.
USA or something like that. I forget the name of it. I don't know if
It's
it's
like
still there.
astronauts. Yeah, it was the
Oh, that's what it
astronauts.
might be. I think that's what it
Yeah.
might be. Yeah,
Yep.
I
Yep.
think they're
Yep.
still around. And actually, I think Bella was telling me that one of the girls that was going there went to Maryland, the University of Maryland.
Oh, no kidding, really? Oh, cool. We walked when we were unloading off the plane. So she was probably like right in front of us, but she was a Purdue. She had a Purdue gymnastics backpack on, and she definitely looked like a gymnast. So that's why I was pointing to the girls. I'm like, check that out.
This was last weekend,
Yeah, last Sunday, this past Sunday.
on Sunday. They had their
Yeah.
nationals 2 years ago, 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
we were watching. Actually, it's crazy because Michigan ended up winning, and
Oh, really?
a girl who is a junior at Michigan. The girls used to compete with her. She was a couple levels above them, but I remember Wojcik is her name from Michigan. We used to see her at almost every meet back east when we were there. And to see her, she actually scored a 10, not at nationals, but earlier this year
Oh, really?
on the
Really?
balance beam. Actually, if you watch Sports Center and they have the plays of the week or
Uh-huh.
plays of the night, top 10 plays every night, there's a there's a uh, there's a little highlight of a gymnast on the balance beam. That's her.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were really happy to see her team win. It was pretty cool.
That's exciting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the girls, hopefully that's one thing they want to do. So it's like, okay, we got options now. So
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. That you don't have to drive a freaking hour one way to get them to a practice for Christ's sake.
yeah, one way. Yeah.
Um, and they're why could June reached out and asked if you guys are moving, and yep, and she's like, what's driving that? I'm like, it's just options. It's just more options and
Yeah, family. That's all
you know
that's all I've been saying anymore.
family and options. Yeah,
Yeah. People pick their jaws up off the ground and I say family. So,
yeah.
and it's most people usually can't say anything about that because they're
No,
like, are you kidding me? I'm like, it's family. And then it's like, all right,
yeah, yeah.
it's
When
good.
I had the typical irate Italian answer when people were asking us why we're moving back to Arizona. I'm like, because we want to.
Yeah.
Why
Next question.
why do I have to have a reason other than I want to?
Done. Put a period at the end of that. I'm
Guess
done.
that's better than none of your goddamn business.
I was gonna say there could be some other follow up to that.
Yeah, but no, but what I did is I stayed in my lane, was patient.
Boy, yeah. Thought twice, spoke once.
There you go. I like
There you
that.
go. You
I
like
like that.
that?
Thought twice, spoke once. I like that.
Thought twice, spoke once. There you go. That's like straight out of Dalai Lama himself, right there.
That is definitely a Dalai Lama-ism.
Ism. Yep. Yep.
That might be a long hashtag though.
I've seen longer. Might take up 2 lines.
Yeah, there was one of the guys that'll be at the soccer party tonight. There's a We'll end it on this note. So we got invited to this text string of the one soccer team. And there's like 12 of us on this text string.
Oh, okay, yeah.
High level of comedy. The level
Oh,
of
good,
comedy it's through
good.
the roof. So I'm spending more nights. My phone is typically staying in my office more often than it used to at night, just because
Uh-huh.
I'll wake up, there'll be like 35 text messages.
Yep.
Hi, sweetie.
He says hi.
Hi. Dad.
No, you're okay. You bit your lip.
No. Tanner
Okay.
got me by playing Duck Duck Goose.
Oh, okay.
What?
Duck, duck, goose.
It's not an Ultra Dads episode unless we have someone or something appearing in the.
Exactly. It's just complete now. So,
So
sorry about the phone.
you don't have to apologize to me, and I don't really think the audience cares.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you can hear it. I can hear it in the background, but they're in the trampoline right now. So usually, usually I was like, oh, I'll get outside, nice and quiet and everything. And of course, they haven't even gone in the house since they got home. So I
That's
was like,
great,
oh,
though.
the house would have been the quiet option. But yeah, this is perfect. Just got to soak every second of this up right now.
Yeah, you do. You got another week left?
Yeah, week and a few days. So time is ticking. So yeah, one more story. I'm purging. I'm getting rid of everything, and I put like kind of like the tools. Like you have your tools, but then you always have a healthy random pile of lumber, just because you never know what you're gonna need. So I had a healthy pile. It was more than a couple boards, and I just put it for free up on Marketplace. I went back to Marketplace. I said, you know, you're better than they are. You can do this. So I put up this free scrap pile, and these folks came up like straight out of like American Pickers. Like they came up, they loaded, they're looking around. I'm like, oh, you want this? And she's like, well, you got a half cut log over there. I was like, yeah, you want that too? I was like, you can make a bench out of this. Throwing it on. She's like, what are you doing with that stump over there? I'm like, it's yours. Take it. Just started loading all this stuff up. They didn't have cash on them, but I got like this like pull behind trailer for a lawnmower, like a tractor. They're like, oh, we can't buy it right now. I'm like, I'm coming down to Salida next week. I'll bring it with me. They're like, okay, we'll pay you for it. So I'm looking all around when they're here. I'm like, what else? What else you want? So it was a funny morning.
I'm assuming they were prepared, not like that couple I told you about that bought
Yeah,
the table and shoving everything on top of her.
they showed up with a. I thought I had some homegrown looking trailers. This thing was like all kinds of pieces put together, and they pulled up. Like our driveway is not trailer friendly. Like it's one way or the other, and they pulled in forward. I was like, you might want to back up on the road. I was like, because we got to get all the way behind the house. And he's like, oh, I'll turn around here. So I was like, okay, guy. So he went up and tried to he flailed like right where you guys could only get up with the rental car that
Yeah, I was
Christmas.
gonna say your driveway isn't rental car friendly in the wintertime.
It's not. It's just not friendly. It's pretty, but it's not friendly. So he flailed. And I entertained his idea, and then I was like, you know what? You might want to back up to the road and just back in. He's like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. He's cowboy hat, Marlboro red hanging from the lip, trying to back up. I was like, come on back. It was hilarious.
That kind of stuff you gotta probably record that.
Oh yeah. This whole process is could be a reality show right now between my trips and then this whole scene here.
You'll get some on the back end too. I'm sure there'll be some stories to tell from the hometown.
Oh, we're just getting warmed up. So yeah, so folks, stick around for Ultra Dads and see how this saga continues.
Yeah, I have a good feeling that at least through the remainder of this year, we're going to have some really good content to share.
Oh, there's no shortage of content for sure. Hardest part is just going to get making sure the weekly shows happen.
Yeah, we'll keep them up. We'll keep them up. Now, they might not go off in the timeline that people are expecting, but hey, people, let go of your expectations. Therefore, you'll be pleasantly surprised.
No, just stay in your lane. Good things will come.
And we'll end it there. We will end it there.
Done.
That's a mic drop right there.
Drop. Exactly. I dropped my beer, but I don't want to do that.
No, don't do that. All right, brother.
All right. Thanks everybody.
Talk to you soon.
Sorry you had to deal with our mugs again, but this has been fun.
We haven't gotten any complaints.
There you go. Perfect.
So
perfect. I did my hair for this one.
So not only am I going to stop drinking, I'm going to stop shaving and cutting my hair too for the next 6 weeks.
Damn. All right. I'm into it.
That's the plan. That's the plan. It may last like a day, but that's the plan.
No, you're worthy. You did the COVID beard. You're good. That was just warm up.
I did.
That was
longer than 6 weeks too. That was like 2 months.
Yeah. I'm not the right guy to talk to about this. Robin's gonna hate me.
Yeah, well, this has already been like a week and a half that
I
can't really tell. It's a little.
Yeah, the itch phase is about 5 to 6 days, and then after that you just let it go.
Well, dude, once you've had a beard for as long as I've had one, it doesn't itch anymore.
Yeah. Well, no, that certain level though. Once you get the lengthwise.
Well, I'll shave. I'll keep shaving it right here.
Yeah.
On the neck, but this is
keep it tight.
But mine doesn't like bush out. It just kind of does this.
I'll send you some beard balm.
Okay. Is that like gel for your beard?
Mousse.
Oh, okay.
Not Aquanet, but
we're gonna leave the audience with this right here.
They're gonna be like, "Can you go back to audio, please?"
I'm hoping. I want to see if, like, when I take the link and post it somewhere, if this will be the shot.
You can do that as the wallpaper. Yeah, the cover.
Awesome. Yeah. That'd be great. I don't know if I can do that.
Do it. You got the skills.
Hey, we need a producer for this show. So if anybody's out there looking for a job to produce this show, it'll be pro bono. We'll get you beers.
Depending on I was gonna say, we'll get you beers from the sponsor we don't have, but we're good for it. Yet.
That's a whole story. So,
that'll be next show.
All right. Love you, man. Talk to you guys soon.
Much love.